All right, let's do this. What up? It's JoJo on the radio. This is the iHeartRadio countdown. Young Gravy. Dude, it is why is it taking so long for us to meet?
Man, you tell me.
It's my fault, is what you're saying, basically. You walk in, you're 6'6". You're sick of hearing this. I don't know, but coming from a guy that's like, I'm almost 5'7".
Okay.
Almost. Give me the disadvantage of being tall. Make me feel better about myself.
So I'm 6'7" and a half, actually.
Dang.
I lied on a song because it flew off the tongue better to say 6'6". But there's some disadvantages. I fly just about every week, multiple times, so flying isn't as fun when you're tall.
I didn't think about that. That's probably
Yeah, and I'm frugal overall. I don't always get first class, so yeah.
And your knees must be next to, like, if you're in the little tiny and your knees are probably next to your nose.
Yeah.
You're like, God.
Sometimes I'm sitting, like, you can't see, I guess, but like sitting like up like this. Yeah, like kind of in like a fetal position sometimes. And it just pisses people off around you. It's like, it's all right, it's not really my fault.
When you sit, like you go to a concert or something like that, and you're in front of the little tiny short, like me, you're like, you hear the groans.
Luckily I haven't had to be in the crowd in a while. And man.
You're on stage. It wouldn't affect. Yeah. Gravy, I was kind of bummed that you don't like talking about how you got the name Young Gravy. And don't tell me, because it's not your thing anymore. But there is no good story behind that?
It's just...
You're sick of telling it, right?
It's kind of an average story, yeah. I'm sick of telling it. A lot of times now I'll just go in and kind of make something up when people ask. Because, if you can research it and find the answer. And,
dude, I would make... here's in my head, because I didn't want to know until I talked to you. I thought I was hoping it'd be some story like, as a kid, your mom, you went to KFC and there was a gravy thing that poured. It's something, and then young, and then nothing like that, huh?
I made up a few things. The original one is basically like I was just freestyling and it came about and it made sense. But I've gotten kind of wild with it. I think on one radio interview, I said something. I made up sort of like a sexual experience in a barn that involved gravy, and
everybody bought it, and
people just were like, "Oh, well, I guess that's what they do in Minnesota,"
No kidding. Now, give me some rejected names over, because I that's another thing I'm fascinated by. I've asked a lot of artists, a lot of bands, rejected stage names, band names, and whatnot. Is there? And it's the same thing with radio. Like you try, when you first start, you're trying to come up with this name that works, and it's branding basically. Is there a list of names that you're like, man, like rejected, like awful names? What did you reject?
Well, not awful. Well, I'd still call them alter egos. I have a lot of different
like Mr. Clean's one of them.
Yeah, Mr. Clean. One of the first ones that I used actually and claimed and almost used was Lil Steamer, and then people thought it had something to do with poop. So then I changed that one.
Scratch that.
And then
God.
Mr. Butter was a good one that I liked a lot.
That's nice.
But I don't know. It was stood out a little bit less than Gravy. Jimmy Continental I've used. There's been a number of them. I just keep on adding, just the alter ego names. But
why am I so fascinated? I will shut up from now on, Gravy. That's the last time I'll mention that. New album, new project. People are going to ask me what are we in the process of working on right now, aside from the tour coming up and all that.
So I got, basically finished two full albums coming up.
Dude.
Yeah, I got my personal project that is finished. More singles to come, and the album itself dropping before tour this fall. And then Baby No Money and I are working on Baby Gravy 3 right now, which is close to done. So hopefully, either before the end of the year or maybe just slightly into 2023, you'll have two new projects.
How early do you turn in a project? Because this always happens, or at least from what I hear. You turn in an album, it's done. And then right before it's time to, finalize everything, the greatest song ever hits you. And you got to squeeze this. When you say you're done, are you done, or have you put those last second kind of,
So usually I'm doing everything last minute. That's what I end up doing. And then I have a lot of legal issues because of samples and whatnot. All types of little things come up. So this is probably the earliest I've ever submitted an album, a few months ahead. Usually it comes in last minute. But I was considering it pretty much done, and then I was in a session and I was like, there's not really an intro. And then in one session I ended up making two more songs that are two of my favorites on the project now.
It always happens. I was just talking to Lizzo, and About Damn Time almost didn't make it just because of time. The last second. And I couldn't imagine that album without About Damn Time. It was such a big, anyway, crazy fan encounters. I'm not saying your fans are crazy, Gravy, but every now and then somebody gets a little extra They do a little this, a little that. Do you have a crazy fan encounter for me that I would love to hear?
I got a pretty good one that just came to mind. So it was after a show. So on a tour bus with all my friends, and actually I don't even think there was very many girls on the tour bus. I think my girlfriend was there, and some dad was trying to get a meet and greet with me, like just like the show's over. He's like, dude, we're out here, like my kid needs a meet and greet. It's like he hadn't paid for a meet and greet or anything. He was just like, I'm trying to go to bed after the show, and this dad comes up and starts banging on the door, and then my tour manager answers, and he said, yo, like, Young Gravy has underage girls on the tour bus. And I was like, so then basically my tour manager walks back in here and he's like, yo, like, it was literally me and my girlfriend at the time who was 20 or 22, baby. And we're just like, all right, well, I guess we're going to like freak out on this dad. Everyone just got so pissed. Everyone gets up. We're playing Super Smash Bros. I don't even have any shoes on. Me and like 6 of us just run outside and we're like, all right, what's going on here? And basically, can I swear? Can I cuss? Well,
totally. I'll believe you.
Oh, okay. So then we run out there. We're like, what's going on? Looking at this dad. And then instantly, like, there's 2 kids. The kids start yelling. They're like 15. Gravy beat my dad.
What?
Gravy beat my dad. And we didn't end up fighting him. But like, dude, that was a moment where like, it's like, wow. So
they yell at you to come outside. And then the kids just want you to kick their dad.
So like, I don't know. They wanted a meet and greet. They didn't think anything would happen. This dude just like pissed us off, and like we're like, all right, let's just go, see what's going on out here. And then instantly, the whole vibe switch was like, oh, do you ready to beat my dad? It's like that was the meet and greet they wanted.
They want like they're probably thinking like this would be the greatest Instagram.
Yeah,
my IG's gonna blow
something
up,
like that. Yeah.
What the heck, dude? Okay, and that's just bizarre, man.
It was weird. It was
just
like
really bizarre.
There's weird little things like that where like fans are so hardcore that they want to beat and greet, and I'm just like, man, we don't need.
And was Dad like? Was he? I'm trying to picture this. Was he like ready to fight? Like, or was that a shock to him? Like,
no,
did they plan this out?
Because we can no. It was like he was really wanted that like interview, and then started saying all this shit. Then six big dudes run off the bus, so it was like, yeah, they gave up.
I bet. Hey, when you signed a record deal in 2019, I think it was?
2018 or 2019. I think it was right around the cusp.
Gotcha. So this moment is it's a big deal for an artist. You probably think about it all your life. Walk me through that, like, and really get specific. Who was there? What were you feeling? Family? Was it a digital signing? Was it an actual pen signing? Like, give me that moment, because for some reason I find that exciting, and at least I think it's exciting. Maybe it's no big deal to you. I don't know.
No, it was cool. They like they made it fancy. They like it was at Republic. Brought in like photographer, like fancy food and whatnot, and it was me, my lawyer, some other people from the label. Obviously Avery and Monty Lippman, and I FaceTimed my mom, and she kind of joined in on the whole thing, and everyone was hyping her up, and I was signing it. It was cute.
Is that something you talked to your mom about for years? Like, one of these days, Mom, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Was that something that,
Oh, she didn't really, before I signed, she didn't really know that I was rapping. At first, when I was rapping, I didn't want her to know, because I was like, if this doesn't take off, I don't want her to know that I'm saying all this shit. So I think she probably had only known for like 6 months before I signed that I was even making music. So
wow.
So it was kind of like, she knew that I was really serious about it, but yeah, she didn't know how.
She probably thinks this music industry, my son's blowing up fast. 6 months and he's got a record deal, not realizing you've been doing it for a minute.
Yeah. No, yeah, she knows the whole story now, but at first she was just like, whoa, what's going on?
Tour later this year in the fall, I believe November is what I have written down, but maybe the dates have changed and whatnot. On tour with Baby No Money. Talk me through what can you say about this upcoming tour? Do you love road life? All that good stuff.
I do. I did a crazy amount of touring in the last like 6 months, right? Right after we kind of could tour again with COVID stuff. I've done at least 80 shows, I think.
Goodness.
Between colleges and my own tour, and then a tour with Dylan Francis, tour with Limp Bizkit, and then a tour in Europe. I've basically done like 5 in the less than a year. And it's been awesome, man. It's been I love touring. It's tiring, but I like to just kind of pack tons and tons of shows together and just get everyone, hit as many cities as possible. So Baby No Money and I are going all over U.S. and Canada, and we're going to make it real sort of theatrical. We want to add a little extra. I usually have like big visuals and a cool sound, sort of story going on during the set, but this is going to be like a big, combined thing, and I can't wait.
Not to get too nerdy here, but when you have this crazy digital visual for your show, do you ever book an arena that doesn't have the capacity to play this behind you? And if so, do you just avoid those arenas, or do you still go, or how's that work?
Yeah. So on this past tour we travel with a big semi that has the wall in it, and sometimes you'll just end up at a venue that's too small, and you just kind of, it's a bunch of little building blocks, so you can just make it smaller. You make a smaller wall.
Gotcha.
Out of it.
All
Still
right.
works.
Yeah. Final question on touring, and I've talked to, like I said, quite a few artists, and a lot of them, when they're on the road, they want to go home, and when they're at home, they want to go on the road. Where do you fall at? Do you have this struggle, or are you just road till you die?
I like it a lot. I mean, I'll definitely, near the end, I'll like want to go home and like go visit, like go to my mom's house and lay in my childhood bed.
Right.
I get all tuckered out, but no, I'm usually really enjoying it.
Tell me the story, and this is probably a story you've told quite a few times. You had a song, you have a song, Martha Stewart, and after you wrote that song, you end up meeting her. Give me some of that, because that seems bizarre and fascinating and all that, everything, all that.
Got it. So, I mean, I wrote it, basically just because Martha Stewart is everything that Gravy is, It's like she's a hustler, she's in the kitchen, cooking up. She's around MILFs, a lot of, it just worked really well for the lyrics. And I've always thought she was such a legend. So I had a feeling when I made it that like maybe someday she'll hear it if it goes up. And then it turned out that someone on her team heard it and was really into it and showed her. And I was like, I wouldn't expect her to love it, but I guess she just really loved it. So then she's like, all right, we got to do something. Let's make a commercial. And we turned into a whole thing. And yeah, now we're tight.
What's she like? I've never met Martha Stewart. I
She's
met
awesome.
Snoop, but not, is she like the female Snoop, so to speak?
She's like she kind of feels like your mom, but like a bad at the same time, She's just like a cool, like caring, but like she's doing her own thing, just doesn't care. Like, I don't know, she's funny.
That's cool, man. Betty, get money.
Mm-hmm.
Give me, what do people need to know?
Slaps. It's crazy. It's basically I came out the womb listening to Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up.
Right.
And it's been stuck in my head ever since. So finally I got to sample it and clear it. I didn't expect, I didn't even try. I thought maybe they wouldn't be down, and now everyone, it worked out. And
when you ask for permission to sample a song, certainly one as just iconic as that one, is it generally just pulling teeth to get clearance for something like that?
It really depends. I think in my case, it's worse just because I swear a lot and I have kind of like obscene lyrics, and some people just don't want that. But this one a little bit more clean. Sometimes I'll go in with that, knowing, and either it'll be smooth and they'll love it, or it'll be pretty.
So
painful.
have you talked to Rick Astley personally about this, and has he?
No, I haven't. It's just going through people.
One of these days,
I think eventually we'll
he needs to jump on stage with you.
Oh, I'd love that.
I want to say that I'm friends with the Backstreet Boys, and I want to say he jumped on stage with them. Maybe I'm confusing something.
He did with the Foo Fighters. I saw.
It's probably okay.
I heard
Maybe
about
that's that.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. Right?
Yeah, that's the goal. So Rick Astley, if you hear this, let's get it.
It's in the universe. Young Gravy, you don't know this about me, but we talked briefly about this, off air, but I am obsessed with the paranormal. Ghost, UFOs, everything in between. I've been like this since I was a kid. I kind of blame it on my mom. Long story, it's not her fault, but that's another, we'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
You have had sort of a paranormal encounter or something. What happened?
Well, we were talking a little bit about like, what is it? Sleep paralysis.
Right.
And I had a friend and I who way back in the day, this is like in high school, but we both decided to try to get good at lucid dreaming. Right.
That's where you can control your dream, right?
And then there's another thing called astral projection that I don't really know how different it is, but like,
is that sort of like visitation?
I don't know. It's some sort of like dreaming thing that's related, but basically what happened is we both like looked up all this stuff and started like doing all these little things. Like you write a journal when you wake up about your dream. You like pinch yourself every like 30 minutes and stuff like that. And basically, I feel bad. It worked out where I got pretty good at lucid dreaming, and I would end up doing it a lot, and it was mad fun, and it still happens to me all the time. And he somehow ended up getting sleep paralysis out of it, and every night he would wake up. He said almost every night he would wake up and be on his stomach, and he would know that it was that moment where like this closet door was going to open and something would like start crawling towards him.
Oh my God.
So like I just got lucky and I'm having all these wild dreams where I'm doing whatever I want, and then he's like seeing some creature every night.
So whatever happened, it triggered the worst for him, and you're having the time of your life.
Yeah.
So how do you induce lucid? Like, do you just fall asleep naturally, or do you have to like go through a ritual to get to have this thing happen? Like, what's the process?
Basically, from what I know, and what's worked for me is, I mean, if you like take melatonin, which a lot of people do, just to help you sleep, it adds like you're a lot more likely to like have vivid dreams and remember them. And then there's just a couple things like you're supposed to ask yourself often, am I dreaming? And if there's anything weird going on in any situation, just like think about like, oh, am I dreaming? And then the main thing that my half brother taught me about this is if you realize you're dreaming, you just like you start doing a 360. You start spinning around
in the dream. In
your dream, you start spinning, and you just like start thinking about other things. And apparently, that's just like it keeps you from waking up. Because usually if you realize you're dreaming, you wake up. But
what the heck? I've had so many people call me about this stuff, and I don't know what category this is in. But this guy said that he could be lying, but he sounded like he was serious. He has a lot of sleep paralysis on a regular basis. They have a little him and his wife have a little trigger moment or a little that's a clue, or like he'll move his finger or he'll wave his hand, some sort of little sign. There you go. He had a sign he would give his wife. Hey, I'm dreaming. Wake my up because it's getting crazy. One time she wasn't in there. She's in the other room, and he did this, dream state, whatever it is. But he actually went in. He could walk, kind of like your thing. Maybe it was lucid dreaming. He went into he couldn't wake up, so he's trying to find his wife, and he's walking in his dream, and he sees his wife, doing whatever, watching a movie, reading a book. Finally, he wakes up in his bed, screaming, "Where were you?" And he told her what she was doing to prove to her that he was, he actually was in there. That's a long way to get around that. That's kind of what I
think that's astral projection. Yeah, the thing that I was talking about earlier.
Dude, that's crazy. Well, if anything else happens,
crazy,
please let me know. And by the way, speaking of the haunted side of things, on tour, if you ever, you're going to tell me no, and it's okay. Everybody tells me no, Gravy. But most hotels have a room, certainly hotels with a history. That's the haunted room. You'll never believe what happened there. Mm-hmm. The history is. Oh my God! Request the room. Yeah. Stay in there. Let me know what happens.
I'll do it. We did on our last tour. We routed to a specific hotel. I think it was in Cleveland, where I think Dylan Francis stayed in that room.
Dude, Dylan's a wild man.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to try it. I want to go to the one in Colorado, the like shining one.
Dude, we were just talking about that. The Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. That's where Stephen King stayed at. And he had the experience, whatever happened to him, which inspired him to write The Shining. The room was 217.
Yep.
Now, when he stayed there, the room was bigger. It was like a presidential suite, but they've divided the room in several different. I'm such an expert on this crazy hotel. But 217 is still there. You can request it. A friend of mine, we both stayed there this one night. Nothing happened to me, but a friend of mine, he wasn't in room 217. He was some other random room. He was putting his clothes away in these drawers. Wooden drawers, wooden tracks, not like a roller, so it wasn't going to open or shut easy. Kind of had to push it, He was putting his clothes away. Late at night, got there late. Shut the door. Big muscular guy, shut the door. Walks around doing some other stuff. Comes back. The drawer is open. That's weird. Shuts the drawer again. Goes about his business, whatever. Comes back. Drawer's open again. He's like, all right. So he, as he said, shut the drawers with intent. Boom. Goes to bed. No big deal. He's asleep. Yada, yada, yada. Wakes up, has to go to the bathroom. Bumps into the drawer, which is open again. So he felt like a crazy man. Had a little chat with the room. I'm sorry. Can we kind of coexist here? I'm going to stay here for a while. Whatever he said. Didn't happen again. Stanley Hotel, Estes Park.
I want to go do something like that. I don't know. I don't really know if I believe in ghosts or not. And I feel like I just need to go have an experience,
If you do, come by and give me a part 2 or whatever. Okay. I need more details. That's your mission, Gravy. Haunted room. Dude, yeah. I appreciate your time. Congrats on everything, man. I really, it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
At the end of every interview, fist bump to make it official. Give me a little bam.
Bam, baby.